hand. Make sure you have your keys in hand. My truck is off, brakes are set, and it's secure. You can put them in your pocket or you can hold them while you're doing your pre-trip. I'll put them in the pocket today where I don't know I'm dropping. I'm telling my truck is not leaning left or right, showing any signs of a flat tire or suspension problem. There's no leaks underneath my truck. My clearance lights and ID lights in the middle. Properly mounted and secured, without broke, cracked, or damaged. They're not missing any hardware, they're proper amber in color. My windshield is properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. Clean and clear, no illegal stickers. My headlights and flashes and reflectors on the side, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. Clean and clear, no condensation. My flashes and reflectors are proper amber in color. My hood mirror, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, clean and clear. My side marker light and flasher, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, clean and clear, no condensation, proper amber in color. My exhaust, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. There's no soot trail showing signs of leak. Coolant reservoir, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. It's not leaking. My cap is on tight and sealed to the proper level. My coolant hoses, properly mounted and secured on both ends. No braidings, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. My water pump, belt driven, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, no leaks. My belt driven alternator, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. My cable leads are properly mounted and secured, not worn, torn, or frayed, no exposed copper. My belt, there's one belt on here so it covers my water pump and my alternator. It's not worn, torn, or frayed. No more than 3/4 of an inch of play or to put my truck out of service. Windshield washer reservoir, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. It's not leaking, filled to the proper level, and my cap is on tight and sealed.
He is running through those right now.
Oil refills, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My cap is tight and sealed, it's not leaking. I check my oil, use my dipstick, which is properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. I will pull it out, wipe it off, put it back in, pull it out again, and check my level. If I need to refill it, I will refill it here. Back here, my air compressor, gear driven, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, no sounds of audible leaks. My steering linkage or steering shaft, however you want to say it, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, has no more than 2 inches of play or to put my truck out of service. Power steering fluid reservoir, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, filled to the proper level, no leaks, and my cap is on tight and sealed. My hoses, properly mounted and secured on both ends, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. My gearbox and my pump back here, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, no leaks. My pitman arm, drag link, steering knuckle, and tie rod, properly mounted and secured with 3 calcium nuts and cotter pins, not broke, cracked, or damaged. My front and rear spring mount, spring leaf, and U-bolts, all properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My spring leaf has no more than 25-inch damage or missing or to put my truck out of service. My shock mount, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, it's not leaking. My airlines, properly mounted and secured, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. My brake chamber, properly mounted and secured with a C-clamp, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, it's not leaking. Push rod and slack adjuster, properly mounted and secured with clappers pins and cotter pins, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My push rod has no more than an inch of play in it or to put my truck out of service. My brake drum, brake liner, and brake shoe, properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My brake line is no less than a quarter-inch in thickness. There is no oil or debris. My inner and my outer wheel, proper minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. No illegal welds. My inner and outer tire wall and my tire treads, proper minded and secured. No abrasions, bones, or cuts, no leaks. My tire treads has no less than 4/32 of an inch of depth, and to put my truck out of service. My lugs and lug nuts, properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. There's no rust trail or shiny thread showing signs of looseness. My hub and seal, properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. My seal has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. It's not leaking. All my lugs and nuts are tight. My valve stills and DOT cap, proper minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. Not touching the wheel. No leaks. When I check my tire pressure, I will use a tire pressure gauge and make sure it is at the proper PSI for this truck. My mirror, proper minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. Clean and clear, no illegal stickers. My door handle on my door. Unlock it, I can get in it. Proper minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Properly latches and unlatches. My door hinges are proper minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. My weather stripping and door seal, proper minded and secured. Not worn and peeling. My floor is clean and clear of debris, no damage. Above my steering wheel, I have my 6-pair fuses. My 10 BC5 extinguisher is proper minded and secured to the floor. It's not broke, cracked, or damaged. It's not leaking. It's fully charged. I know that because the pin is in the green. My seal and my pin here is still intact, showing it has not been used. Back here is my 3 emergency triangles. They're proper minded and secured. They're not broken. None of the reflectors are missing. All of my grab handles around my truck are proper minded and secured. They're not broke, cracked, or damaged. They're not missing any hardware. It can hold the weight of the driver. My door properly closes. My steps, properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. Clean and clear debris. It can hold the driver's weight. My fuel tank is properly minded and secured by 2 straps and 2 bands. The straps are not broke, cracked, or damaged. My bands have no abrasions, bulges, and cuts. My cap is on tight and sealed. It's not leaking. My DOT chain and seal. If you open it, you can see it. You don't have to do this for the test. Properly intact. My cap is tight and sealed. It's not leaking. My depth tank, properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. It's not leaking. My cap is on tight and sealed. Catwalk and steps, proper minded and secured to the frame. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. Clean and clear debris. It can hold the driver's weight. My DOT reflector tape on the back of my tractor, proper minded and secured. Not worn, torn, or peeling, clean and clear. My frame, proper minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. No illegal welds. My drive shaft, proper minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. My airlines, proper minded and secured on both ends. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. My gland hands are properly locked in place. The gland hand seals has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're not leaking. My electrical line is properly plugged and latched on both ends with the pigtails. Not worn, torn, or frayed. No exposed copper. My electrical box is properly intact. Proper minded and secured. Is not broke, cracked, or damaged. Now from here, you can go to the bottom of your trailer, do your 5th wheel stuff if you want to, or you can start with your suspension stuff and work your way around to the 5th wheel. I normally just start with my suspension and work my way around. Y'all can do it any way y'all want to. My front and rear spring mounts, proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. My spring lead and U-bolts are proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. No more than 25% damage or missing on my spring lead can put my truck out of service. On every truck, if you look right here, in the back corner of these tires, you will notice that your shock absorber is right there. And no matter what truck you look at, it always, just like this, you look at the tires, you don't miss it. It's right there. My shock absorber, broke, cracked, not proper mount secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, it's not leaking. My airbag and mount, proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. The airbag is fully inflated, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. My 5th wheel plate and apron, proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. not missing any hardware. My fifth wheel plate is properly greased. There is no spacing between the apron and the fifth wheel plate. My platform, proper mounted and secured to the frame by the mounting bolts. Not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, no illegal welds. My release arm, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. It's in the locked position. Mud flaps, DOT reflector, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. It's not touching the ground, the reflector is clean and clear. My airlines, my brake chamber, proper mounted and secured, no abrasions, no cuts, no leak. My brake chamber, proper mounted and secured, with a C clamp, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, no leaks. On the back end of my brake chamber, my push rod, slack adjusters, proper mounted and secured, the clavin pin and cotter pins, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. If I pulled in my push rod, it has no more than an inch of play to put my truck out of service. In the back end, my brake drums, brake liners, and brake shoes, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. No oil or debris is in there. My line is no less than a quarter inch of thickness to put my truck out of service. The difference between here and up there is you have two sets of tires. Alright? So you would say my inner and outer wheels, because the inner and outer wheel on here, the inner and outer wheel on that. Properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, no illegal welds. There is no spacing or debris in here. My inner and outer tire treads on all tires. Proper mounted and secured, no abrasions, bows, or cuts, no leaks. Lug and lug nuts, all properly mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, no stranded threads, no rust drainage, short side or looseness. My axle seal, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, it's not leaking. My valve stems, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, they're not touching the wheel, the DOT cap is in place, it's not leaking. When I check my tire pressure, I will use the tire pressure gauge and make sure that it's the proper PSI for this truck. The reason why I say that, on your paperwork, it tells you the PSI is no less than 100 PSI. When you read it, right? It'll show y'all something. What is the PSI for the front tire? What is it for the back axle? So if you go 100 PSI on this back axle, what are you doing? You're overinflating your tire. You have to know. Not all trucks have these stickers, but thankfully, with us, we have Ryder trucks. And Ryder put stickers on all of their truck and trailers to let you know what the PSI is for your truck. If you don't have that, right here, everything you need to know about this truck is on this door frame. If you don't see it up here, read your tires. Don't just put whatever you think is going to be the PSI for that truck tire. Read the tires. But for us, for testing purposes, for this truck, all you have to do is point and just sit. You don't have to say a PSI. For the trailer, it's different. We read the tire pressure for the trailers, and most of the trailers we have is 100 PSI or more. So it's different back there, you say no less than 100 PSI. But up here for this truck, proper PSI for the truck. Alright? So all this is done now. My tail lights, reverse lights, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. No condensation, they're proper color. Because one of them is red, one of them is white. Then you're going to get underneath here. My torque bar is in here. When you get up underneath here, you can see it. It's right up in here. Proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My kingpin, locking jaw, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My locking jaw is properly locked around the kingpin. Coming out. Then from here, some people go ahead on and do the landing gear. I start at the front of my trailer and do everything in order. Alright? For that, we already done the lines here. All we're doing now, my clearance light, top to bottom, left to right. Proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. Proper amber in color. My headboard, proper mounted and secured, no bulges, cuts, or holes. No missing rivets. What would cause the bulges, cuts, or holes? No, I mean, what could cause it? Your freight. The person coming with their forklift, he'll tell you, they would do it. And they won't say nothing. They will put that load in here so crazy, they'll cut it all of it, or holding it, or it'll be bulging on the side where the weight of the load is leaning and it's not properly set in there. So the same thing from here, from the side of my trailer, proper mounted and secured. No bulges, cuts, or holes. All my ribbons are in place. My DOT sticker goes the full length of my trailer, not worn, torn, or peeling, clean and clear. The frame of my trailer, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware, no illegal welds, and can hold the weight of my load. My inspection sticker is properly intact, not worn, torn, or peeling, and it's up to date. My landing gear and cross members, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware, no illegal welds. My landing gear feet is in the full up position. They're not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. The cranking arm, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. Stored in the up position. My cross rails or crossbars, and the paperwork it says cross members. I've always heard them called crossbars and cross rails, and these are the cross members. But either way you want to say it, you want to say cross members here and here, you can say that. Proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, no illegal welds. The floor of my trailer, this floor is wooden. This is a dry van. This is not supposed to have wet stuff on it. Proper mounted and secured, not chipped or rotting, showing any sign of damage. Now here you can group a lot of stuff together. You step back, my wide turning signal, side marker light and flasher, rear side marker light and ABS lights, all properly mounted and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. Clean and clear condensation and proper in color. My airlines, properly mounted and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. Actually, proper mounted and secured, no abrasion, bulges, or cracks, no leaks. My sliding tandem system, meaning your rails, your blocking pins, this right here is push button. So it's your box and button. Look at what you have, call it out. Proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. There's no legal wheels on my rail. My locking pins are out in a locked position. The box is not broke, cracked, or damaged. The button properly functions. Now, you have two types of systems. You have a rigid system and a regular system, right? If you really want to know what you have, when you start talking about your tandem system, look for a mount. You don't see a mount for your torsion bar and your spring leaf on the tractors. It's back here, right? On the truck. On the trailers, right here in the front corner. Look through there. If you see a shock absorber, you have an airbag. If you don't see a shock absorber, you have a spring leaf. All right? Right here, your shock absorber, right through there. Proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. No leaks. My airbag and mount. Proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. The airbag is fully inflated and not leaking. That's your suspension system for your trailer. My airlines and my brake chamber, proper mounted and secured. No abrasion, bulges, cuts, no leaks. My brake chamber, proper mounted and secured. With a C-clamp, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, no leaks. In the back end, my push rod, slack adjuster, proper mounted and secured with clavus pin and counter pins. Not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My push rod has no more than an inch of play in it, put my truck out of service. My brake drum, brake liner, and brake shoes, proper mounted and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. There's no oil or debris. My brake line is not thinner than 1/4 of an inch, or put my truck out of service. Same here as back there. You got two sets of tires. My inner and outer wheels on all tires. Proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware, no illegal welds. There is no spacing or debris in here. You can see it better here than you could back there. If you look in there, you see that you got the inner and outer wheel butted together. It has to be tight together, no debris. My inner wheel, outer wheel, and tire treads on all tires. Proper mounted and secured, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, no leak. My tire tread depth no less than 2/32 of an inch. Same as back there on my back of my tractor tires. Lug and lug nuts, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. No rust, drainage, or shiny thread showing sign of looseness. My hub, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not leaking. The odometer is clean and clear and readable, fully readable. All my valve stems and DOT caps are proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. They're not touching the wheel, and there's no sign of leaks. When I take my tire pressure, I use the tire pressure gauge and make sure that my tires are no less than 100 PSI. My mud flaps, proper mounted and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware, not touching the ground. Now, when you look at the side of your trailer, if you see this, you already know that back here you have the doors that open out. If you don't see this, that means your door raises up. All right? For this trailer, you have a door latch. It's properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. My rear clearance lights, ID lights, properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. No condensation, proper red in color. My door, trailer door, properly minded and secured. And my hinges, properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. My door has no bulges, cuts, or holes in it. My locking rod and handles, properly minded and secured. Not broke, cracked, or damaged. Not missing any hardware. My locking rods are locked, top and bottom. See these right here? You got to make sure that you got them locked properly up here and down here. All right? My door latch chain. This is what goes into the door latch to keep your doors held open. Proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. My DOT reflector tape here and here. Proper minded and secured, not worn, torn, or peeling, clean and clear. My four-way flashes, brake lights, and running lights. Proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. Clear of condensation, proper red color. License plate light, proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged. My license plate is clean, clear, fully readable. My DOT bumper, proper minded and secured, not broke, cracked, or damaged, not missing any hardware. Yeah, not missing any hardware, no illegal welds. Everything on this side is the same as that side. If you ask them, you want me to do this side, they're going to tell you no. Then, a little bit of courtesy. Do not go inside and do your pre-trip inspection, in-cab inspection, without asking them out here to do your lights. Because if not, you're taking them all the way up here, you're going to get in the truck, and then get them to come right back out here to check your lights for you.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My phone looking my way.
You have to make sure, right here is where you ask them to check your lights, all your exterior lighting. You say all your exterior lighting, you don't have to break it down if you want them to check your brake lights, flashes, high beams, and flashes up there. Just ask them, would you mind checking all my exterior lights? Yeah, I put it in my pocket this morning. So you say after you finish, you're going to ask them on this side, they're going to say no. So would you mind checking all my exterior lights before we do my in-cab inspection? They're going to say yes. You're going to lock down your hood and you do your in-cab. They're going to pause your time right here. They're going to pause your time right here.